Hello and welcome back. I guess first we'll start with introducing our new occupant. And here he or she is. Absolutely gorgeous. This beauty was mixed in with a tank of regular long veils that were on special at one of my favorite local fish stores. And so I just snatched him up because he is a veiled, blushing blue angel. And he should have been in a more expensive tank, so I took advantage. I got him very cheap. And he's just gorgeous. And I guess the other topic we're going to touch base on today is mixing discus. I have done so quite radically. And everybody says it's chaos, you know. I've got Asian discus. I believe he's Asian. The might be Malaysian. He's an overseas discus. I have some Germans. These two. I have, God, I don't even know what these guys are. I've got two of these. And he's just a random. I don't even know. He's probably Asian. I don't even know. I think he's just a mutt at some local breeder. Pet shop I bought this guy from buys from local breeders. Yeah, the Skeletor was just like this guy. This guy's perfectly healthy. Skeletor, I don't know. I think he probably had a genetic problem. And if anything, that was my mistake. I picked this skinny discus. And then prior to him, I made another mistake where I picked a stunted discus. Now, the stunted one, he was the red sun discus. You can see him in earlier videos. He didn't make it. He would not eat. And sometimes that's because they're just addicted to beef heart, and I don't feed beef heart. So if they don't adapt, well, sometimes they just hold out. This Asian one was clearly fed beef heart, and he didn't eat for nearly 3 weeks. This pigeon blood. And that's because he was on fed beef heart. So right now he primarily will only eat bloodworms, but at least he eats something. And I have seen him sort of work on pellets and flakes, but he's reluctant. So I'm shifting him towards that direction. All my other discus, I had problems getting them to eat the diet I want them to eat, but they're all eating pellets and dry food, and they love it. So once I get this last one over, things will be great. I feed them an assortment of pellets and dry food, so they have a balanced diet, varied foods. They're all growing very well. The other probably dangerous thing I've done is, I think quarantining discus for a month by themselves, or one or two at a time in a small tank is a stressful ordeal, and I would rather put them in my big tank and pray that they didn't come with anything, because this tank has optimal conditions, lower stress. I run UV on this tank, which my UV is 15 watts. It's strong enough to kill parasites and anything alive floating in the water column. But again, I had 2 problem fish out of everything I bought over the last couple months, and I've been stocking this tank, and I've been doing it in a manner that's not recommended. I've just been adding my fish and praying. Now, nobody's sick. Everybody's doing great. And I did have 2 questionable fish. So because I had those 2 questionable fish, and my tank is stocked the way I like it, and everybody's healthy, and I don't want to risk a problem developing, because although Skeletor, I think, had just he was just bad genes. I decided to do a precautionary Fritz ParaCleans, and I've just completed that. It's a 5-day routine. So my bubbles are a little more bubbly, and my water is probably not as nice as I'd like it to be because the meds are cycling out. But precautionary cleansing, probably a good idea once every 6 months with a fish tank that has discus. Discus are very vulnerable to parasites, so you definitely want to make sure that you've got that in check. So now my tank is, although my fish were healthy, I've cleansed them. It's expensive to do, 100 and something gallons of water, but peace of mind, So I could have not done it. I could have saved that money, but again, I was playing with fire. I decided to just make sure that I protect my investment, and now I'm happy I have. I've also updated my heater. Got a titanium digital heater. It's a lot nicer than, it's a 300 watt, and it's better for this tank. I found the 200 watt Heigl was it was struggling. I don't think it would have kept up in winter, so I've moved that one over to the 70-gallon tank, which is still just seasoning. I had a couple angelfish in there just to help it out, but I've moved them back into the main tank. They were eating my plants, and they probably still will, like that guy right there, but c'est la vie. I mean, hopefully they don't kill my plants. It's only one of the black ones that seems to like chewing on them. But we'll leave them in here for now. The 70-gallon, basically I'm going to make some dividers, and once my discus start pairing off, I will set up breeding chambers for them in the 70. I have a 20 down here as well, waiting to go, but I don't need it yet, so it'll just sit there. I'm going to get a few more 20s. I might keep them here, but I'm a little concerned about how much weight I have in this room, so I'm probably going to have to build a rack somewhere else in the house, likely down in the basement. But that's future stuff. I'm far from needing to do that right now. Right now the focus is the main tank, and we're going to grow things out. The nice thing about that angelfish is the long veils are dominant, so most of the babies, even if it breeds with one of those black ones, will come out long veiled, and you'll still get a significant portion of them that will be blushing blues. So really happy I got that blushing blue. You don't see them very often around here. Like I said, I think it just accidentally got mixed into the batch. It stood out because it was different, and I grabbed it, and sure enough, she was a little gem. So that pink underneath its gills is totally normal. That's part of its coloring. It doesn't have a problem. It's natural. It actually can get quite bright red. I've seen others where it's nice, and this one's actually kind of light on the pink blushing. That may get darker with time because I've only had this fish a little while, and after I feed it a nice diet and it colors up even more, I expect the blues to get stronger and the pink blushing to improve. So that's where we're at for today. Oh yeah, so I did the ParaCleans, and I moved the UV sterilizer into the tank from the sump, just to be sure. That way, because it's pushed down right to the bottom, it's got really strong suction, so it's bringing in everything from the gravel into it. As you can see, the jet reaches like well past half the tank. It causes a really good amount of flow. I like to keep the flow down because it's a Discus tank, but for now, I'm gonna run that for a good 2 weeks in here, and then move it back down into the sump. And I did that following the ParaCleans. So I've got charcoal down here, filtering the meds out of the water. It's a nice brand new bag of activated charcoal sitting on the intake. All the water's traveling through it, and I use those are lava balls, and I use them as a floating bed media. They work really good. The ParaCleans did nothing to upset my cycle. Well, maybe a little bit, but because I'm getting bubbles, but I don't think those are cycle related. Like, my bubbles normally pop instantly. Right now they're lasting a little longer than I like to see, but that's just because there's still meds in the water. I've only changed out 30% of the water because we just finished the cycle. And tonight I will change out another 20%, but I'm going to let the tank run and let everything season up before I don't like changing too much water at once. My water changes, I typically cap them off at 25%, but I did a 30% because of the meds. So we'll do daily water changes until I've exceeded the volume of the total volume of my column. So with that, we'll see you on the next one, and we'll just end it with a little bit of watching the fish, and I'll add some music to that.